Homo sapiens, it is your boy Alano Marcano here and alive once again. Welcome to another movie rant. This time we're talking about Nosferatu. I do apologize in advance for any stutters. I'm not a very loquacious person, so please bear that in mind. Not only that, I did go in watching into this film very blindly. I heard it's a revamp, a remake. I haven't seen the original, so the reason I'm talking about this one right now is because I just finished watching it, and it's kind of fresh out of my memory a little bit. To be honest with you, this film may be forgettable. I may remember who acted in it, but in terms of specific scenes, it's definitely going to be forgettable in the next day or so. I do apologize, but anyways, Nosferatu came out the year 2024, literally last month, and it's a gothic horror film and written by someone and someone. I don't know who, but it's a remake. I haven't seen the original, so I don't really have anything to base this off with, kind of. But given the whole poster and the whole trailers and everything, you get what you get, you know? Like, the summary is literally a tale, I suppose, of a haunted young woman with a terrifying vampire they say that's infatuated with her and causing all these horror in her town. But I don't think the word infatuated is the right word, to be honest with you. I get a couple mixed feelings, but is it good as they say? Yeah, I guess I have to agree. It is a film. It is different, so it is high up there. To be honest with you, just doing a quick surface level research here, I'm not gonna say it's that great. Again, subject opinion, do not come at me. I'm gonna rate this a 4. Not a 5, but a 3.5 out of 4, just because there's effort made, the acting was phenomenal and everything like that. But the downsides are, it's too damn dark. It's so dark, I hate it. It's so dark. You really need to like boop up your brightness and contrast to watch this movie on your television screens. But besides that, it's a movie, I guess. I think it's a bit too long for what it is because the summary is literally a one-liner. And I think this guy in the comment section kind of pretty much summarized the experience overall. He's saying like Coppola's Dracula was better, with the possible exception of the inclusion of the worst actor in history, Keanu Reeves. Not sure what Coppola was thinking there, unless it was to show how inept and stupid Harker was. So clearly there have been a couple of remakes of this vampire character. I'm not talking about the one that was 100 years ago. That's like the original. Clearly in the early 2000s or so, there have been a couple of remakes. And I mean, the vampire thing has been going on for ages now, right? But to be honest with you, the movie is good. Like, it's good. It's just too long for my taste and a little bit too disgusting for my taste. And when I say disgusting, I don't mean like the horror aspects or the gore and stuff like that. I just mean the sexual part, which I guess is the whole point of the movie, perhaps. But I just don't like that. It's literally an old man making out with a young woman, and I just can't get that past my head. That's not the kind of porn or stuff I'm into, nor anyone should be, nor I don't want to watch people just making out in front of me. Like, I find that disgusting, which I guess is the whole point of the movie, given the term Nosferatu means disgusting. But yeah, I'm just not too sure how to go about this video because I'm just ranting, so just hear me out. In terms of the themes, it was a bit hard to kind of grasp. I wasn't really like, I only watched it once, so in my top of my head, I'm getting the typical narcissistic, male and female dynamics, plus the feelings of isolation, plus death, plus loneliness, I guess. Those are sort of themes I picked up, I suppose. Like, for me, in my opinion, the first 30 minutes are pretty good. After that, it kind of goes downhill from there. And I think everyone knows the scene that I'm talking about when they first see the vampire. I think it's in, let me try to find a timestamp here. It is when, what's his name? Oh, no, it's when he wakes up from this gypsy camp or whatever and goes up. That whole scene is immaculate. I definitely love that. What's his name again? Thomas something? Tom? That's around the 25-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken. And when he enters the castle and sees Dracula, that whole scene, the orange, that was beautiful. Like, the darkness and the contrast of colors there works great. I think the colors and the contrast it ruins the film for me when it goes further and further because it's so dark. But I get it, it's a gothic film, but it's just this blue hint is distracting to me. All I'm seeing is blue and orange. That's all I'm seeing, and I want more color. I want more color. So for me personally, I just didn't like that. But it's nice to see you have all these great actors in them. I guess I should break down one by one who was in them. I think the guy who was playing the old man, Bill something. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Skarsgård. Honestly, seems that he's like the next Johnny Depp in playing all these intricate characters, especially these horror characters. Yeah, he's always playing the sort of creepy villain or something like that. Then we have Lily Rose Depp, which her acting was immaculate. This is my first time seeing her act in this way, so it's quite amazing to see. My only verdict is that the movies I've seen her with, or the media I've seen her in, given her maturity, it's always so what's the term? It's always so how would you say it? It's always so sexual, I guess. I don't know. It's a weird. Like obviously back in 2023, people were making fun of her acting on The Idol. Like that's when people were like, okay, she's trying a little bit too hard. And then even before that, she was just 2021. All her stuff has to be so sexual. It's a bit weird. I don't know. I find it a little bit strange. She always has to be half naked half the time. I don't know why. Like, no one wants to see that. There's nothing, at least for me, visual to see on her body. You know what I mean? Like, there is no need to make this woman show her chest. Like, there's no need for that. But yeah, this movie shows a lot of chest scenes for some reason. I don't know why the women here are, I guess, different time, given the context of the movie. But her acting in this was phenomenal. Her past movies, I would say, were like meh. But I just hate, maybe that's a Hollywood thing, making all these young women have to be sexual in some point in their lives to be in the movie. I guess that's a whole trend in Hollywood in itself. But her role is just, every time I see her on screen, she just has to be half naked or something like that. But again, besides that, her acting is amazing. Her being possessed, rolling her eyes up, and oh man, it was something interesting to see. But again, the whole direction of her possession, again, too sexual. It makes me disgusting. Which I guess in my mind, like, okay, that's the whole point. That's the whole point of the movie. That's the whole point of the tale. Like, she's lonely and horny, and you had to wake up this old man to satisfy your needs. I get it. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. It's just disgusting. Like, I don't want to watch this I don't want to watch a movie of this on my screen, especially that's high budget. You know, you literally just go in, type in some random stuff online and watch that on your alone time. But anyways, moving on to Willem Dafoe. I have nothing to say about him. Phenomenal actor. Again, he's acting as, again, this sort of crazy man, crazy doctor in this film. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I completely forget it, but he's great. And then next we have, what's his name? Nicholas or Thomas. Oh, the Tom guy, yeah. This guy, I'm getting mixed feelings around him. You know, in the film itself, he was supposed to be confident in every single way. He's doing what he can to, you know, support his family. But then this minute he sees a castle and Dracula, his whole demeanor just completely, utterly goes a 180. And I'm just like, oh, come on. I want some tension. I want some resistance against Dracula, you know? The guy just completely fumbles, which I guess as an audience, that's what we are experiencing through his eyes as soon as he enters the castle, which I guess it's fine, but I just hate how the way they were putting him in the beginning, like he's willing to do anything to make his wife happy, stuff like that. Like, the confidence, the aura just went minus 5,000, and you only get to see his confidence get back up later in the film when he's trying to save his wife. Like, where was that confidence throughout the whole film? I guess he was sick and bitten, but I think around the 1 hour and 40-minute mark, that's when you get to see his confidence come back. Like, that resistance I wanted to see in the beginning, because in the beginning he just completely fumbles, and I just like, what? Come on, man. But anyways, this actor in itself, I don't understand what Hollywood is doing, or maybe his agent or whoever is managing him. He's always acting in these similar films, which I'm kind of like, great, you know what's your strong suits, but at the same time, I'm like, bruh, can you do something else? I mean, give it up to this actor for film in being a nice big film every single year. I like that about him. But he's always, since the beginning, I've known him back in 2013, nearly 10 plus years ago, he's always been acting like in the vampire stories for some reason. Starting from Warm Bodies, and then literally 2 years ago, he was with that Nicolas Cage movie, what's that called? Rhinefield, something like that. Again, the whole dynamic of him being a servant to a vampire. I'm not too sure why they're trying to like push him to that sort of avenue for so long. Like, I don't understand what's so unique about him for him to act like a monster or become a servant of a monster. I'm not too sure about that. I know the other movie that I saw, The Menu, that was an interesting dynamic, but the whole idea of him being confident and also, excuse my language, my French, becoming a pussy, or a C word, I'm just like, what are you doing? The whole dynamics shift is kind of interesting. I know he came out with another movie. Oh, that's also one thing I want to talk about. These guys, what's his name? Nicholas Hoult and Aaron Taylor. Those guys had a flop of a movie that same year last year, and they came back with this stuff. So, for example, Nicholas Hoult here, he was in a movie called Juror #2. For me, that's a cool movie. To me, that wasn't a bad movie. That was just like a little boring for my taste, but it wasn't bad. From that to this vampire movie, but for Aaron Taylor, moving on to this another character, my god, this guy had to act in the movie Craven and now he's in this. I was like, okay, he has definitely made himself back up in there, and he did a phenomenal job as well. I have nothing bad to say about this guy. We know he can act, he could do his stuff. My only thing about his character is that I don't know, I think he could have been cut out from the movie a little bit earlier, because the movie's 2 hours plus long. Let me tell you that. The movie is 2 hours long. My god, for the simple summary of it all, it doesn't need to be. It can literally be summed up in 30 minutes, if anything. But it's 2 hours long. For me, that's just a little bit too long. I mean, it shouldn't feel like 2 hours. It could be 2 hours long, but it shouldn't feel like it's a long 2 hours. But for me, it felt that, because I was just skipping and like, oh my god, there's so much yapping. There's so much pointless things. Because the audience already knows who's what. There's no mystery to it all, And there's too many, like, again, for me, sexual things, making out, kissing. Like, I mean, I don't mind that, but it was going for way too long. Like, okay, y'all, like, break it up, At the point, and just at the point where it's getting like, ugh, I'm gonna cancel this movie, it cuts. So, like, okay. It's doing that whole edging thing where, like, okay, you're doing it, you're pushing my boundaries, and then, oh, you cut it, you stop it, okay, great. I could, resume back my focus into this movie. But every time that happens, or any, like, possession or sexual things are happening, like, okay, I could tell what you're trying to do, all this moaning and stuff like that. It's just like, oh, get me out of this. But the middle part of the movie, there's so much yapping going on. And there's also this other character, I forgot his name. I didn't understand the point, but I guess he's another servant of the Dracula guy. I don't know how he got to the other side of the country or whatever the place is, or the ocean. He was apparently the Rat Prince. Again, I never seen the original movie, so I can't really compare the 100-year-old movie to this, but I know it's a remake, so clearly the plot lines of the stuff are pretty much the same. I'm assuming so, right? So there's nothing much. I'm literally complaining about a plot that happened 100 years ago, so if this is a true remake, and everyone's kind of praising the movie. But anyways, besides that, those are those characters I'm talking about. Obviously, there's more characters, but those are just the ones I kind of found profound. Like, I recognize their faces. I literally do not know their names. I had to Google this really quickly, so who the cast is. But yeah, everyone did a fantastic job. The movie is great, but everyone's praising it so high. Like, I'm just like, did everyone have a corn addiction or something? Like, it's just, in essence, just an old man that's obsessed with a young woman, bro. Every time he spoke about, like, can I have that charm? I want to smell it and keep it. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Like, this is beyond sexual harassment, bro. Like, the obsession of it. Like, I don't understand. As a human being, we have all those emotions. We have gone through that. But to see it in front of your face, and I don't want to be ageist or anything like that, but it's just like, ugh. It cringes. I cringe every time I see it. I cringe. And I was actually rooting for her to, like, resist, which she was, like, Lily Depp, or whatever her character name was. What's her character's name? Ellen. Well, yeah, the amount of times they said Ellen, Tom. Was so funny. Like, Ellen. I don't know, the amount of times they were saying her name was so funny, in my opinion. But yeah, that's basically the movie. They both die at the, spoilers, I guess. Oh my god, I even forgot to say that. Spoilers-ish. They both die at the end of the movie, butt-ass naked. Yeah, I know. She sacrificed herself, again, in a sexual manner of sorts, and they both died. Thank God, I guess. but it took so long to get to that point, you know? Like, this could have been wrapped up in an hour or 30 minutes. It shouldn't be 133 minutes long. That's just my personal opinion. But anyways, would I recommend this? I guess so. It's something different if you haven't seen this kind of horror genre before. But definitely wouldn't talk about it with anyone. But yeah, anyways, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from